Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. As I mentioned in my Kings Lynn photo walk video, linked here somewhere, I planned a second day trip while I was dog sitting for my parents in Norfolk. This second trip was to the city of Norwich. I had visited several times before, and in 2025 I was surprised to arrive on Norwich Pride, and I'll link to a video I put together of those images here. I decided to go to Norwich on the Saturday, giving myself a few days to recover from my Kings Lynn photo walk, and upon researching if there were any events happening, I was pleasantly surprised that it was the Lord Mayor's annual weekend event from Friday through to Sunday. Saturday was the Lord Mayor's parade. So upon arrival, I had an early lunch and warmed up with some street shots that you can see here. I was shooting with my trusty Canon 40D, and my trip to Norfolk on this occasion, I'd only taken my Canon 18 to 55mm lens. This lens is a good workhorse and more than adequate for street photography. I thought on this occasion it would be nice to photograph the preparations of the event if I could, and this followed a conversation that I'd had with a friend when we'd been to other events like Chinese New Year in London. And it's all very well photographing the parade, but we thought there might be some better shots if another time we went to the preparation area. So with that in mind, I wanted to go to the Norwich Cathedral grounds where preparations were taking place and the parade would congregate before leaving to go out into the streets. So after my lunch and my warm-up shots, that's where I headed. I think it was a very good call, and I have images that others will not have. Up until the parade was starting to congregate and line up ready to go out into the streets, there were very few people, I think one or two with cameras. Yes, a lot of people were taking pictures on their phones, but there weren't a lot of cameras until the point that it was about to leave, and then all of a sudden photographers arrived. As the time approached for the parade to congregate, I decided that I wanted to capture some footage as well as still images. But I didn't yet have a chest holder for my phone, as I don't have an action camera. So my setup was to use my Cold Shoe phone holder on top of my 40D and holding the camera as steady as possible while also taking shots, zooming in and out like this and just keeping an eye on the video, making sure I was lined up. I was shooting ultra wide and then I can zoom in when I do the edit, and then just shooting like this as I was going. This, as those of you with any spine or fibro issues will know, has its price physically, as I was standing in the same position for around 30 minutes. But I knew that whatever I did on this day, the evening and the next few days would be extremely challenging with pain and cognitive decline, just for having a day out. But it was worth it for the images that I captured. Once the parade had departed the cathedral grounds, I needed to centre myself and work with the pain that had built up from standing in the same spot for half an hour, holding the camera and doing the video for that period of time, slowly getting my legs and spine working through the pain so that I could take a walk back across town to catch the bus. This happened to be the same route the parade was taking. Now, the streets were extremely crowded compared to the relative calm of the prep area, so that I'm really glad that I did film and shoot the parade leaving the cathedral grounds, because my nervous system was in complete overload. My vision and cognitive function was struggling. So that was already ramped up. So going out into the streets where there are lots of crowds, people coming at you, trying to navigate through people on the pavements as they were watching the parade, was something I would have to do slowly. But thankfully, the parade was also moving slowly, allowing me to capture image of the watching public and more of the parade participants as I walked. As I arrived back at the market area, I'd almost made it back to the front of the parade. I shot a few more images to include observers and performers in front of the colourful market area, but I was absolutely done. I did want to follow the parade further, but knew that I just couldn't. And that's when you know you've got to just call it a day. I turned around and I was outside Nero's, a coffee shop. Even better, there was no queue. Everyone was outside, so I grabbed a decaf oat latte to save on the way back to the bus. After a very good day's photography in a brilliant atmosphere on the streets of Norwich with families, people enjoying themselves, amazed by the costumes and effort that's gone into a parade like this. And I definitely earned that coffee. It was another day of excessive steps, like King's Lynn, not quite as many, but still in the 14,000 area. And another few painful days and nights after with challenging cognitive function. But I think I managed to successfully document something of the day. And as I've said before, you still have to live with these conditions and have a life, more importantly. And, you know, I really got some nice shots that I'm happy with and I'm sharing with you here. Let me know what you think of the shots and this video in general in the comments below. And thank you to those of you who are commenting on my videos. It seems that momentum is starting to build a little bit and you are starting to ask me questions and provide your comments on what you're enjoying about the videos. It really is appreciated. Don't forget, as always, give us a like if you've enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It will help me raise the profile of the channel, and I will speak to you in the next video.